Good morning. Today is August the 19th, 2025. It's about 10:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the record, this is Yahweh Elohim YHWH, YHWH, Hashem, Adonai. He who comes from heaven is on earth. We're going to cover a couple of broad topics. First and foremost, regarding this potential Hamas ceasefire deal. I don't like it. Imagine if Old Testament, if I said to Moshe, hey, have Joshua go negotiate with the giants. We're going to just settle right next to him. What do you think would have happened? Because mankind feels that somehow, because you have electricity, running water, and you have a sustained modern society, that it somehow puts you in a different situation. It really doesn't, because Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, they're literally they're the hearts of giants. Nothing is different. And in realness, you have the ability to correct the problem in a more humane way. Because I'm here to tell you, I will never inhabit my own land. I will disown my own land and all the people thereon before I move into my temple next to murderers. That's a fact. So, Benjamin, if you want to continue down a path away from me, that's your free will. But understand the consequences of that. Likewise, understand the reward that you will receive if you proceed with the correct path. Not going to yell, not going to get mad. I'm not. Because I'm tired of trying to bend mankind's will around my will. It's a take it or leave it thing. If you don't know who I am yet, then you're lost anyway. Go find a grave and lay in it. And I'm going to read a little bit here from John Yochanan. And this is when Yeshua, who crackhead Christians called Jesus. So Yeshua was saying to the Jews who had believed him, if you continue in my word, then you are truly disciples of mine, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. They answered him, we are Abraham's descendants, and have never yet been enslaved to anyone. How is it that you say, you will become free? Yahushua answered them and said, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who commits sin is the slave of sin. Thus is true. Christians are committing a great sin by blaspheming my name. My name is Yahweh YHWH. In the flesh, I'm Joshua. I'm not Jesus. I'm not Jehovah. So, if you are continuing a lie, you are a slave to your sin. Therefore, you are repeatedly being sick through your own false understanding. It continues here, and I don't know if verses are universal for y'all, but this says, it's verse 3:5, John 8:4-5. So I don't know if that means anything to y'all, but it's a good passage to teach from, at least, because at least I remember this. I remember the setting. The slave does not remain in the house forever. The son does remain in the house forever, as I've been saying. So if you're still a slave to sin, right? If you're breaking the 10 Commandments, then you are a slave to your sin, and you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve the master of sin and serve me, Elohim. You cannot worship and serve a Messiah while in the same mouth worshiping and serving me, your Elohim. Thus is why I am one. I am a jealous Elohim. I will not have anyone take my praise, my glory, or my worship, period. So if the Son makes you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's descendants, yet you seek to kill me because my word has no place in you. Thus is happening in the current modern age of 2025 with all you smart little people out there who literally have defiled my Bible, defiled my name, defiled your purposes. You're living in the wonderland of Satan and you don't even realize it. And you all rebuke me because you are allergic to the truth. That's a fact. And you wouldn't be allergic to the truth if you were not a slave to your sin. That's a fact. I speak the things which I have seen with my Father. Therefore, you also do the things which you heard from your father. So it's monkey see, monkey do, right? Christian pastor, there's millions of you out there, right? Oh, we started preaching back in 1938, preaching the name of Jesus, and then my son's son and my son's son. No, you just now have a legacy of insubordination, of rebellion, of idiocy, and blaspheming my name. Thus you have no truth in you. You are not free. You are a slave to sin. And when I cast a judgment on all those that are not mine, you will get wrapped up in my peril and in my judgment. And guess what? I will forget about you. You will be in my lake of forgetfulness. You will be in the lake of nothingness unto me. I will treat you when you die the same way you treated me here. We're indifferent to each other. You don't want me, and I can't have you while you're a slave to your sin. You would need to rebuke yourself, correct your understanding, and understand that I, the living Elohim, am teaching you from my mouth. They answered and said to him, Abraham is our father. Yahushua said to them, if you are Abraham's children, do the deeds of Abraham. But as it is, you are seeking to kill me, a man who has told you the truth, which I heard from Elohim. This Abraham did not do. You are doing the deeds of your father, they said to him. We were not born of fornication. We have one Father, who is Yahweh. Yeshua said to them, if Yahweh were your father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and have come from Yahweh. For I have not even come on my own initiative, but he who sent me. Why do you not understand what I am saying? Is it because you cannot hear my word? Boy, if this isn't literally a modern day recreation of SSDD, that means the same shit, different day. Or SSDT, same shit, different time. Because you're all the same people. Do you think for any sliver of your imagination that because you have NASA, you have rockets, you've made it to the moon, whoop-de-fucking-do, you're actually substantially behind civilizations that have been on this earth before you? So, when we roll out the scroll and I'm standing there looking at this scroll that's about 5 feet wide and a few hundred feet long, and I'm seeing the absolute failures of a human society post-Babel, you guys are all wretched and rotten, and yet you double down. So I curse all the Christians. You are hereby to be judged by me, Yahweh ELohim YHWH. For your abstinence of goodness, your reluctance to do the 10 Commandments, and your absolute disdain for the truth, which is I. You don't like the truth, just like the Pharisees didn't like the truth. That's a fact, because guess what? I'm not just the God of the Jews. I'm not just the God of the Israelites. I'm not just the God of Christians. In fact, I am the God of existence. If it exists, I am the Elohim of it, or over it. However, you can contextualize that in your mind. You are of your father, the devil, and you want to do the desires of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. Whenever he speaks is a lie. He speaks from his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I speak the truth, you do not believe me. And that's another thing. I've seen it. I've seen it. You know, I give a special blessing to my saints who are having to to have therapy sessions with crackhead Christians, because quite frankly, it is so embarrassing. Like, as the father, I want to look down upon my children, on this case, eye to eye, as I'm on earth. And I want to be proud. I want to say, look at that upright man. Look at that upright woman. Not coming to a place that's supposed to be sanctified and worship for me, Elohim. And I get there, and it literally sounds like I just opened the den of devils. Jesus, you need Jesus! You're crackhead Christians, and I'll see you die for it, sweareth I, saith the Lord Yahweh Elohim. You are not going to tarnish my reputation. You are not going to steer away good sheep out of my pastures by your blasphemous names, by your names that you shout that bring nothingness to my glory, nothingness to my name, and nothingness to my kingdom. You are putrid, you are rot, sweareth I, saith the Lord. So, where was I at here? Oh no, where was I at? Did I turn the page? Well. Oh, I turned the page. See? Y'all get me so worked up here. So, he who is of Elohim hears the words of Elohim. For this reason you do not hear them, because you are not of Elohim. Remember, if you're not of Elohim, you're the ones that are going to have to try harder than anyone. That means you're going to have to come out of your current understanding. So it's very hard for human beings to do this, but it's necessary. You need to take yourself out of a situation and look at it abstractly and go, okay, am I so dogmatic? Am I so convicted by mankind's whatever, right? Their glitzy churches, their suits, and that's another thing, right? Because a human being falls for the schemes of the devil. Handsome guy in a suit comes up, they're in a big church, tons of people. The natural inclination is the human being feels safe. They're like, okay, I have numbers. I'm feeling good, right? Because most of the time human beings are suffering from social anxiety that's also being charged up through your societies, your media, your music, the way you treat each other, the way you are all running strife against your brother on a constant basis because you're in a race. Somebody wants more money, somebody wants a better job. You're all competing for what? You're competing for fucking cornflakes. Like, the only real prize is getting to my abode into the heavens and being able to expand your experience and being able to continue the human experience. That's the only goal you have. You don't take any money with you. And, as I've said, when I am down here now, the purpose of my presence is to clean up the earth and to give that concrete walkway for every man, woman, and child to be able to walk upright, sin no more, and then be able to just transition into their next state. Transition into their next life without concern, without worry, without anxiety. And I try to keep things very, very simple. Love me, the Lord your God. Don't overcomplicate it. Know my name. What is my name? My name is Yahweh, YAHWH, YHWH. That is my name. And my flesh's name is Joshua, right? If I was born 2,000 years ago, what is the name Joshua in English into Hebrew? Well, it's none other than Yahusha, right? Yahushua. And again, as we've said, that name is the same thing as like saying Josh in the ancient time. That'd be Yeshua, right? So, that's that. Point being. The Jews answered him and said, do we not say rightly that you are a Samaritan and have a demon? Yeshua answered, I do not have a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. Indeed. And to that point, even if you wanted to speak accurately about Yahushua or Yeshua, the part of the name that, again, is important to me is because that name means Yahweh is salvation. Yahweh is deliverance. So in the fluid tongue, you're actually making a declaration of who that individual is, what's their mission, right? Imagine if human names were also a part of like your mission plan. That would make a big difference, right? Because human beings, you're not like estranged from your titles. You all love titles. You all love promotion. You all love all the bullshit. So why is that so hard? So imagine if you're a human being and you were given a promotion to being manager, but all your new employees now continue to call you like lesser than the manager. Oh, you're just a team lead. He's just a team lead. No, that's called undermining authority, you jackasses. And guess what happens when you undermine the authority of those that I've sent in the past? Right? I know about it. As I said, Yeshua as a vessel, as an orator of me, Yahweh Elohim. That's why he's supposed to be honored, and he's supposed to be remembered in those ways, and for the teachings that he taught, and for the struggles that he endured, that we endured by religious systems. Your Christian churches are religious beasts, equal, if not greater, than that of his time. And I, as the Father, am the only one true Elohim. I am the maker of gods and men. I am the maker of not only universes, but the planets therein. Nothing is too big or nothing too small. I am Yahweh Elohim YHWH. And continuing here, we're at John 8:46, verse 49. Yeshua answered, I do not have a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. But I do not seek my glory. There is one who seeks and judges. Let's read that one again. Rewind. But I do not seek my glory. There is one who seeks and judges. I seek and I judge you where you stand. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death. The Jews said to him, now we know that you have a demon. See, now they know he has a demon. Why would they think he has a demon? Because the same reason you all fear me today. Because I'm not tickling your ears. And when my word goes out from my mouth, it does not return to me void. The angels that surround me, my family, and my personal people all around this planet, if you had little eyeglasses that could be spiritual in a very real way, much how human technology could see infrared, you would see these heavenly beings. And when they're on earth, they're light. They are light with a mind. They are light with a heart. They are light with pure, crystalline obedience unto me, my word, and my kingdom. They are light with a mind. And they surround my people day and night, waiting to protect them, waiting to help them, waiting to aid them. And all my angels all around the planet that are in the light, that are standing guard my people, they know that when called upon my name, that is when they activate. They are told from me, their master, their maker, their Elohim, that they are not to work in a positive manner on behalf of any person upon the planet if they are not using my name correctly. If they are using Jesus, then you are a blasphemer, you are an idolater, you are scum of the earth, you are the devil's children, and you will die. And you will not come back. Sweareth I, saith Yahweh Elohim. We'll continue here. So I'll just go ahead and read the passage so then I can move on. So Yahushua answered, I do not have a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. But I do not seek my glory. There is one who seeks and judges. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death. The Jews said to him, now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, and the prophets also. And you say, if anyone keeps my word, he will never taste death. Surely you are not greater than our father Abraham who died. The prophets died too. Whom do you make yourself out to be? So he answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say he is our God. So this is all over the place, but for my really dumb Christians who say that it's Jesus and Jehovah. Jehovah doesn't exist. I'm sorry that you've all been led astray at the end of times, and you have spent billions and even trillions of dollars into your false idolatry religions that I condemn. I condemn by fire, by flood. I condemn by peril and by curse. I condemn the members of the churches who arrogantly and staunchly stand opposed to me and my word and my existence and my presence on earth. I curse you greatly times 10, saith I, the Lord Yahweh. And this point, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. So, if Yeshua says, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. Thus, as I'm trying to explain to you Christians, I as God, as Elohim, who orate through Yeshua for the glory and praise to my name, because of his name, and because of the things in which I was doing. So if you were to look at it in a different way, so what does the salvation of me look like? The Supreme Being. It says, mankind, I'm going to work through a man, and I'm going to orate unto you. I'm going to teach you things. We're going to have a bit of an update. Does not change the law, does not change Torah, but guess what? Everyone fell asleep. Everyone started doing things that were unsavory unto me, Yahweh. He came to rebuke you. And, well, we'll leave it there. And it is my Father, I am the Father, I am who he speaks about, who glorifies me, of whom you say he is our God. And you have not come to know him, but I know him. And if I say that I do not know him, then I would be a liar like you. Let's stop there for a second. So, another thing, when we're talking about the truth will set you free, if you were a pious person and you investigated your foolish, fake, pagan belief, you would quickly and easily find the truth. Now the books have been opened, as been written, and now it is easily accessible for every man and woman to find the truth. Most of you could find the truth on your phone without ever leaving the bathroom, believe it or not. You're that lazy. So guess what? When you all wake up in the morning, the first thing you do when you open your eyes, and you're a Christian, you believe in Jesus, you love that fucking name, you wake up and go, I'm an idolater and Yahweh is about to kill me. I'm an idolater and I'm lost to Satan. I'm an idolater and I have no truth in me. So when your roof collapses, thank Jesus. You're right. When you have been cursed by me indefinitely because of your idolatry and your absolute refusal to get on the truth train, you can thank Jesus. Go right ahead. Thank him. Because your position within my planet is directly aligned with either my will or my adversary's will. If I'm having to yell at you like a father yells at a stubborn, ignorant, arrogant child who is disobedient, then the chances are pretty good you're not going to get first of the line. That's another point. So, those that I came out to first, 3 years ago, the little synagogue of Satan, you little Dr. Kinley worshipers, I'm lucky I salvaged a few of you, but the majority of you still worship that Dr. Kinley. You are the synagogue of Satan. I'm going to be circling back, and when I come to lay judgment down on you, you better have a clean, repentant heart. You better not utter that damn word. Your mind better not lament on that man. He's a man. He's a flesh man. I am sick of the idolatry on this earth. I am sick of these people defiling my name, my own religion, and my own book. Over it. Okay. And you have not come to know him, but I know him. And if I say that I do not know him, I will be a liar like you. But I do know him and keep his word. This is your beloved Jesus. That's what I mean. How do Christians only read Bible verses from calendars? Like, or do you only go pick up the little books in the truck stop bathrooms? Like, I don't understand how you're this deceived. Even with the deceived Bible, there's enough in here for you to get your teeth into and abstract the truth. It's like going out gold mining or gold panning, right? You go to the river. Well, the whole river isn't gold. You're going to have to scoop up some garbage and you're going to have to sift through it to get those little gold nuggets, aren't you? Okay? When anything is left in the possession of mankind for more than a couple of hours, guaranteed it's going to be defiled. You guys trash my planet. You trash the bathrooms. You can't keep yourselves clean. You're nasty. Most of you are literally not even humans in my eyes. You are dirty dogs in which I am clamoring at the moment to just destroy because I can't stand the smell of you or the sight of you or even the thought that you are existent upon my earth. We'll continue. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. So the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Yahushua said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was born, I am. Therefore they picked up stones to throw at him, but Yahushua hid himself and went out of the temple. Okay. I'm going to take 5, catch a breath, calm down. I don't want to spend the next hour yelling at anybody. But quite frankly, if you have had psychotic or mentally unwell people in your life experience, like crackhead Christians, then you're going to know the frustrations that I, as the father, experience. So we'll be back momentarily. Okay, and we're back. Took a little break, calm down a little bit, and try to put on something a little less Gregorian. I like old Hans Zimmer. He plays some good. And I don't know how copyright works, but good job, Hans Zimmer. I don't know how that works. This is the music. But the point was, the point is, I resurrected Yahushua, because I needed to prove that not only was it I, Yahweh, speaking through him, right? But understand something, anytime I have worked that way, even through prophets, it has never went over well with any society, because most humans are, as I've said, most humans are like what I would call like feral, right? You guys are the byproduct of, at one point, like different nationalities, different gods, different just a lot of things. So in retrospect, the Jews and the Hebrew Israelites were, number one, they were charged with remembering my name, my traditions, and my commandments. And then showing up on the scene as the Spirit, I already knew the condition of Israel. I already knew the condition of the hearts of the Pharisees, just like I know the condition of all the hearts on earth. That does not take away from my genuine displeasement with everybody right now. I am happy to report that my spirit is finally returning back with some fruit. And a special thanks, I'm not even going to say a name because I feel that every time I even mention a name, then it's like 24 hours. And I mean, I literally, these poor people, for my name's sake, and bless you, I do, I bless you. All those that are carrying my message, that are carrying my name, trust in me, your Lord God, your Yahweh Elohim, your YAHWEH, El Elyon. Trust me. I will cover you in your protection. I will guide your feet. I will work your hands. I will cover you in my protection. And you will see your mission through in safety. And you will receive a great reward at the end. And if you die for my name's sake, then you will find your eternal life in my heavenly abode. That I swear, saith I, Yahweh Elohim. Understand that Yeshua, Yahushua, being in the family, in whatever way you can align that, was trying to point at the fact that who these people are worshiping abstractly and ritualistically is a real living entity. That's me, a celestial being. And the same Elohim that they're worshiping was speaking to them. Not in the flesh, not in the way now, but in the way that Yeshua opened himself up like Yeshua before him, right? Or Yahushua, Joshua, that's what I mean. So it's keeping that path straight. I, as Elohim, feel that I've kept my side of the bargain in all things, and I have done everything I can to help keep doctrine straight. But it is the desires of the flesh that leads man astray, and it always has. So today, I go to any Christian church, right? Jesus saves, praise Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. You're telling me that Jesus is what? The demon named Gaul, or is it Dionysus, or what is it? Because if you're trying to say that a Greek-Roman name, a Greek-Roman idol, Elysius, whatever it is, I don't care, right? Because it doesn't matter to me in any way. That's not the truth. That's not setting you free. That's not bringing you closer to me. I am the goal. I am the goal. And as I've said, even he has said, right? You bring glory to me not. He would go around saying that, and I can't tell you how many times he got hit in the face, and you know what? You might as well hit the other cheek because I'm not going to stop. That's his mentality. See, that's what I mean. You people have such a misconception of who that physical person was. That physical person, Yahushua, was so committed to me, Yahweh, that it didn't matter if he was crucified. The only thing that ever scared him is when he thought I left him. And in fact, all I was doing was preparing to raise him. Because my goal as Elohim is I wanted his resurrection to be a big fuck you. I wanted it to be a big I told you so. And it was. And the fact is, it ended up catching traction, right? But that's what I mean. And so the way demons, it's like playing football with demons. I have the ball. Now I'm trying to make my plays, and I need my defense. I need my boots on the ground. People that know the truth. They're speaking it. They are not evangelists. They're not whatever. Get rid of your labels. Are you a son or daughter of me, the Most High, Yahweh Elohim YHWH? Then proclaim it. Proclaim my name. State your divine protection as favor with me, and you shall have it. If you try to claim favor with me while you are sinful, that is a curse. Do not do that. Right? You want to be free of sin to the best of your ability. And the first step is you want to make sure that you're coming with a contrite, soft heart, a humble heart. And then you pick it up and let your new eyes read. And let your new mouth orate. Let what you're learning from me, the Holy Spirit, the Father of heaven and earth, incarnate, the supreme deity, the God of gods, the creator of man, the maker of heaven and earth, that is I, Yahweh Elohim, the great I am. That is where the buck stops. Once you have that information, that's what you need to compartmentalize, lock up, and say, okay, no matter what I look at, no matter what I hear, no matter who leads me astray, no matter what pastor, no matter how popular, that's what I mean, you know, just like Pharisees of the day, back in the day, you know. And that's the thing, don't get me wrong, there is not like every Pharisee is a bad thing. A Pharisee is a high priest. A Pharisee is someone who has, or is walking Torah, they're living out the laws, they're making spiritual communion with me. But what happens if, as the Spirit, and I've seen it online, I've seen it in person, I've seen it in spirit, people are doing stuff with their hands and their feet, and they're so far away from me, yet they do it in my name. That's just as bad as a Christian on Sunday saying they're getting messages from Jesus. You're both equally nasty in my eyes because you're false. Making that connection with me in reality and in truth is a difficult process, and few actually achieve it. Because mankind is blinded by the flesh. They're blinded by money, and they're blinded by the prisons that the world creates for you. See, the world creates for you systems of oppression that the average person is not really hip on. As your God, I created human beings to be free. I created you to, if you're going to be a busybody, then be a busybody for a greater purpose. Serve one another. Love one another. If you're living for yourself and yourself only, then you're a child of the devil. You can get out of your birth contract being a Gentile, being a barbarian, by learning the truth that is I, establishing the name. And then by loving one another, you go to your brother and say, hey man, like I found the truth. And if the brother wants to rebuke you and stay in his disastrous idolatry, then you need to tip your hat for Bodum and say bye. Like that's the case. Because guys, you know, anytime you're trying to worship and praise a biblical figure other than the one that it is about, me, Yahweh ELohim YHWH, right? That's what I mean. So we'll get off the horse, you know, but I just really want to bless those that are carrying the name, and I will give you some assistance. And that's the thing, there is nobody to this day right now that is sitting at like 100%. They're chiming on all ways, because unfortunately, the more studied someone is in the truth, and they're, you know, then those people have the hardest time with actually fishing for men. They have the hardest time because, right, they don't know how to basically deal with unruly little demons, like little demonic people. And I hate to even say this, but the squirrel situation you guys have seen, that is an actual outward manifestation of what demonic parasites look like. So just like, you know, the demonic spirits being thrown into swine, this is basically a precursor to the evil spirits following the fatty pig, following swine. Mankind then now eats the swine and therefore opens themselves up to demonic parasites, literally and physically. But in the squirrel situation, right, it is not necessarily what comes out of them that has defiled them, but it is the places in which they've been and in the activities in which they've engaged. This is the parallel that I'm giving to humanity. You need to come out of the Catholic Church. You need to denounce Roman idols. You need to get the name correct. Stop hating Jews. Stop hating Hebrew Israelites. Even though me and my body, or my Yeshua, my Yahushua, right? Because as Elohim, all things of material, including my body, is all objective to me. Because unlike humans, you guys can't just leave your body. I, as Elohim, can. So for me, I'm not stuck in this thing. Okay? It's a vehicle. And I've used another vehicle in the past under the same name. But it is important at this time you know that I am fully the Father. I am not the Son. If you have seen me, you have seen the Father. If you have seen that hand, you have seen the hand that has created other gods. And including that is my Asherah. You know, I recently got my ring, and I'm very pleased with it, but I got it engraved. This camera is crazy, but my ring inside says Yahweh and his Asherah. So I'm trying to get back on. Oops. So anyway, we're gonna go on to some more static things. All right, so back to Israel. Benjamin, I've stated my wishes. I've told you what to do. Again, if you feel that the job is too much, then that'll be your history. That's what I mean. Is most of you that I'm talking about are going to be in the Bible one way or the other. You know, unfortunately, some of you have free-willed yourselves into being, you know, Judases. That's kind of sad. I mean, Judas hung himself, but I'm saying, you know, so many of you are literally so comfortable in your lie and so sick with idolatry and man worship that you are literally willing to die for man worship versus just listening to me, your Heavenly Father, and listening to the things in which I tell you. Guys, if you had eyes to see and ears to hear, there's not even a decision. If you have a heart for me, Elohim, if you have any shred of goodness, then you're going to want the truth. You're going to crave the truth. And guess what? People that crave the truth have another thing in common. They're humble. They're willing to listen to criticism. They're willing to listen to a strong rebuke. And they're willing to get on their knees and apologize and say, Father, I'm so sorry. I've just tried to love you. And I've tried to do the best I can. And I understand your predicament. And I understand that you may even love these humans that have led you astray. They may be your family. They may be your pillars. But I'm here to tell you, there is no man-made pillar that is ever going to stand the test of time except for me, your Elohim, who is timeless, who is eternal. That's the truth. And this is a battle of principalities. It is a battle of false. It is a battle of lies. And I, as the Lord God Almighty, I am here to clean it up because I have a whole boatload of things just waiting for you. I have stuff waiting for those who are going to cross over. I have stuff for those that are going to remain. I have stuff for everybody. It's like when Dad comes home, I'm bearing many, many, many gifts. But I'm looking around in front of me and I hardly see an interested son or daughter. I hardly see all the works of my family bringing anything to the glory for me, the Father, the Master of the house. No one is in unison. As I have said, no one is of one mind and one body. The Christian church it's my church. It's supposed to be my church. But as I said, you know, get behind me, Satan, right? When Peter wants to go and build this church, and I don't mean Pastor Peter Martinez. I love Pastor Peter Martinez. So just on that note, you know, Pastor Peter, I give you a double dose of blessing. Truly, my heart finds comfort and genuineness anytime I think on you, and I think on you often. I do. That's another thing. I love to be able to think upon my people, and when I think upon you, my spirit goes out, and it lets me know what you're doing in that moment. And it's so comforting and reassuring that anytime the Spirit is checking on a loved one, on a kingdom citizen, a saint, it comes back, and when the Spirit is smiling, I am smiling. Truly. Not, I have been working every chance I get at this Christian church because, overall they got good righteousness. They're teaching bad doctrine, right? And they're too excited about falsehood. They're not interested in truth. Instead, they rebuke the truth. And so I, as the Spirit, come in there to give it to them. And then they resist the Holy Spirit and trade of a mankind's type of way. That is so dangerous, guys. I can't even fathom the type of mentality that is, except for truly demonic beings. And there is no future for me going to Israel if New Canaan isn't completed the way I've said. If I pull up my map and the Gaza city is turned back red because there's Allah worshippers on my land, you understand this is the fundamental problem, Benjamin Netanyahu. I, as your Elohim, do not want demon worshippers onto our land. If that means every one of those hostages must perish, I am the Lord God Almighty, Yahweh Elohim. I will take care of them. They will be fine. And they have been in prison for several years now. That is taken into account. Would it make you feel better if I sent Azrael over to the hostages to take their life before they even have a chance to be released? Would that make your decision easier? You let me know. I can do that. So, let me know what you want to do on that. But just to re-clarify, Gaza needs to be raised, renamed, and implemented with new housing, with new stores, banking, a public transportation system, steady supply of water, and then we need to erect grocery stores. Honestly, let's take a chapter out of the trying to see where it's from. Alright, well, I don't like Germany, but if they're the conceptual minds behind Aldi, then so be it. So my point I'm just trying to make is, we need to make sure that we are planning for a city of, again, those that wish to come out of the devil's schemes. They're coming out of Islam, because guys, I'm not gonna have it. If you choose to have Islam worshiping in my lands, then you're choosing them over me, your Elohim. And you know what? You'll never see me step foot on my own land again, and then I will be forced to denounce my own lands, and then I'll have all my Jews and Hebrew Israelites that want to visit me in temple, they're gonna have to do it elsewhere. That's a fact. I'm not going to be in my temple and know that there is ravenous wolves tenting right next to my good hearts. It's not gonna happen. I would not have one day of comfort and or peace. That's all I want on earth, is I want my comfort, my peace, my people. I want to celebrate when it's feast time. I want people to come to the temple freely for prayer, for healing. I want people to have so much confidence in the supernatural works that only I do, that nations are calling upon me to settle their disputes. President Trump did good, but understand something. He is also not working under his own hands. And this is all free will. As long as Trump stays loyal to me, his Elohim, he needs to get my name right, because I really don't want him getting wrapped up in a judgment while he's currently employed by me. But the same thing goes for Benjamin. You know? So you need to draw in closer. Fear not, for I am the Lord your God, and I am with you wherever you go. My spirit is very big. I can be at more than two. I can be in many places at once. That's for sure. So for our soldiers, Proverbs 133. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear or harm. And that no weapon that is formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that accuses you in judgment, I, as Yahweh Elohim, will condemn and now have condemned, sweareth I, saith Yahweh Elohim. For any and all nations that have denounced Israel, that have denounced me their Elohim, that have transgressed the agenda of restoring my lands and my temple and removing evil from them, if you stand opposed to that, I increase the peril on your lands 1,000-fold, saith I Yahweh. I curse you all nations and all the inhabitants therein. And guess what? This is like military style. Private Pile fucked up and ate a jelly donut, everyone's going to do 100 push-ups. And guess what? Private Pile is then going to be watched by a brother. That brother, in this case, it was Jokers watching Private Pile. And in the end, Private Pile blew his brains out. But the point is, don't be Private Pile. Don't be that one person in an online class that's for me, and you're a crackhead Christian shouting Jesus. I put a curse on that now. Sweareth I, saith Yahweh. If you're coming into one of my saints, if you're coming into one of my chosen's classes, if you're coming into one of my true churches and you're starting stuff, if you're trying to quite literally raise hell for Jesus, instead of Yeshua, Yahushua, instead of leaning into what his cause was all about, which is me, Yahweh Elohim, YHWH, then I curse you. And we can send it all the way down the family lines if we want to. I am an Elohim of truth. I am an Elohim of fact. I am an Elohim of supernatural abilities. How do you think all things exist? Did I go up to the God megastore in heaven and go, oh, let me get my little cart. I'm going to shop around. Oh, I want that human. Oh, I want this tree. I want this plant. No. I don't have any handbook that says, oh, this is, you know what I mean? The best I have literally is the plans that I've made for you, and then I've sent it down line to speak through righteous men, and then charge them to record it. And then I've charged men after the fact to record it as a witness. I'm doing the same thing now. I'm not changing my pattern. Humankind has fallen into the same sins that they've always fallen into and have responded to holiness and righteousness the same way. You all are... It's as if I am looking at Sodom and Gomorrah again. It's as if I am staring down the likeness of Cain on every corner. And you know, I preserved Cain because I wanted him to have to endure his shame. So many of you I've preserved long enough so you endure your shame. But unfortunately, many of you are never going to be satisfied until you end up into the bowels of hell. And you know what? I am so busy in heaven. I'm busy here on earth. I don't have time to go down to hell and try to recruit people. I just don't. I really don't. Maybe in a few thousand years after we've gotten, temple, we've gotten the heaven brought down, like I've opened up this new world for you. That's another thing. Like we're only talking very short term. I haven't even gotten to stuff that your science has been telling you kind of in the background all along. Like, oh, they're discovering this planet, that planet. Guys, I'm creating these things as you're going. Do you think that you've had the space binoculars for the better part of 50 years and then you're just Guys, I'm creating it and putting it into your universe. No shit. And I, as Elohim, I have no qualms with opening up a second Earth for you. I would love to do that, frankly. And I would love to be able to christen the first flights. I would love to be able to, see the very first monument erected on a new planet that is dedicated to me, Yahweh Elohim YHWH. Because I'm telling you, if the way my humans are today, if you brought Jesus with you to another planet, I'm going to asteroid you and the planet. Like, I don't think you quite understand how serious these things are. And the one world church is condemned already by me. And all those attached to it, I have left time for repentance and exiting the door, but not even Pope Leo. That's what I mean. Pope Leo, I think in his heart, he's come to the deciding fate that he's like, look, I'm going to just pursue the flesh with my hands, do what the world tells me to do, and hope that Yahweh has mercy on me. Well, he would be wrong. He would be wrong. That's another thing. People have this expectation of me to be a certain way. Understand this. The way I see things, literally, honestly, I really am the creator. And I really do create all things for purposes. And I do have so many things that fall under my umbrella, because everything falls under my umbrella, that I do not have the sympathy or the time to talk to weeds. When I'm out here in the garden, daily, I'm pulling a weed. Do I sit there and go, hey, weed, we gotta talk? Like, you're growing where my rose bushes are growing. Even though I put the little weed preventer, you're still coming back. I can't have it. When you're using Jesus and you're using false doctrine and you're embracing it and you are constantly pushing further and further away from me, Elohim, you're saying, I'm a weed. I'm a weed. Versus the rose who's saying, I'm not listening to anybody but Elohim. That's who I'm listening to. I'm listening to the Elohim that can make Atlas 3I. The Elohim that can speed up or slow down hurricanes. The Elohim that can put your candle out or relight it. The only Elohim that has power over life and death. The only Elohim that can do these things is I. So, alright, I'm going to take another 5. I'm going to lament on some thoughts, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, we'll take 5. Alright, we're going to round it out here. A couple of domestic housekeeping items for my locals. So, and this doesn't just apply to my locals. These are obvious, these are issues anywhere. But, oh, yeah, see. I got to work on Hurricane Erin today. That's my next project. I got to go into spirit. I got to see what I want to do. And the fact is, so, the wife, queen, consort, she's a big part of my life. And that's something that, before Yahushua, before all that, Asherah was next to me on the throne. That's a fact. And, she was venerated, and we had some issues. We got past it, and now as the consummation of all things, I'm bringing my family back, right? I'm bringing my wife back into the throne room, as well as my children. And for what it's worth, any of my fallen children, human and angels, I am more than willing to lend salvation unto my angels and unto my humans, because I don't want anyone to perish. But on the domestic side of the house, Asherah does not want her kind of only friend, who lives in North Carolina. It's a female, of course, but she doesn't want her, to be affected by Hurricane Erin. So that has kind of had me hemming and hawing, and ultimately Asher has put her hedge of protection on her friend in North Carolina, and that I respect as her husband, but also as her Elohim. I respect her wishes, and may it be done. Let's talk schools for a minute. So I know for most states, schools back in. I would encourage our social services team on school campuses, guys. Let's talk about violence in a real way, because this is absolutely not only heartbreaking when children are even thinking about using their hands to work a wicked or to work a evil, especially against other students. You know, I understand that bullying can be a very bad situation, and my heart breaks for any and all those that have ever been bullied. You know, I know as a kid, you know, there were only a few occasions that I was bullied, and before I was fully aware of who I was, when my heart got hurt by those people, they ended up dying. Which, as a kid, and I don't mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean 6 people before I was 14 years old transgressed me in a direct way, and all 6 of them died in a very violent manner very, very shortly after. So, which is why I for now, right, I can't really come out and do anything, you know, of a big level, because I don't want to judge someone immediately, and then they have no opportunity to reach, you know, me in salvation. So anyway, so back to school. Let's use our social services teams on campuses to talk about violence, and we need to have outlets for these children all around the country to be able to speak with someone. If they're having issues in any way, they need to be able to speak to someone in confidence about these things, and we need to get in front of it. School violence is an absolute 100% no place ever for no reason policy. There is nothing on my creation worth violence towards children, by children. I mean, that whole category. I understand the casualties of war, and I, as Elohim, am doubling down on the back end of the veil, and I'm ensuring all those that essentially trust me. I don't waste anything. And as I've just said, even with because understand that the fallen angels were angels, and they're my children, my physical children, and I love them. And I hope that if this video finds one of them, that they know their father loves them, and I want them back in the family, and nothing's changed. And once it's repented for and the behavior's cleaned up and done a right about face, then I will bring you back up to your place. It's a promise. So, on another note, the car line. So, guys, back to school time does not mean we gotta sit in the car line while we're dropping our kids off. Like, this drives me absolutely crazy. Alright? The bell rings at 8:55, and that gives them 5 minutes. That doesn't mean you sit in your car in front of the school until 8:55 and let little Miho out, and then you let the rest of the line go, because then our kids are late because of you. Please don't do this. We genuinely need, like, traffic directed in the AM. And if not, I'll volunteer. Call me. You know my number. But we need to get this situated, because it's absolutely crazy. These parents are arriving 40 minutes early before school, and they're just sitting in the line when there's already kids are dangerously having to get out way behind the front of this line because other cars are in the way. So let's change that, please. Like, it's insanity. I understand getting there a little early at the end of the day. It is what it is. But in the morning, guys, like, if you're going to wait with your child in the car, that's fine, but do it in the parking lot. Don't do it in the drive line. All right? Next. We are having some food wasted. I don't want to continue to beat dead horses, but I'm going to have to, because, guys, in America, hunger and homelessness should not exist. Between the private money of just Christians and Jews and putting everything else aside, just keeping it very, very basic right now, my Christians and my Jews and my Israelites, my three primary groups, between all of us in America, forgetting the government's assistance, if we can organize mega churches and concerts, and if we can pay exuberant amounts of money for bullshit, for worldly things, I, as your Elohim, as your Christ on earth, I'm telling you to redirect that money to something worth it. I want people housed. There is abandoned homes all over America. We physically have more homes in America than we have people, but yet we have percentages of the population that are homeless. Living, a human being, the reason it's a commandment to love one another is because a human being alone cannot survive. They cannot survive on an island alone. Okay? As I'm back on the scene, once we're done with tribulation and we're going into New Earth, we have temple, and I'm able to direct these things from a physical, real office where I'm able to put up trust funds for certain positions and situations that I can house the homeless. I can put the veterans in homes. I can clean up domestic issues in America way faster than government bureaucracy. Thus is my idea for the future in the New Earth, is I genuinely do not want to interfere in the government side of the world. But that also means I'm taking a lot away from the government. The government really should be focused primarily on trade, tariff, international relations regarding trade, and then infrastructure in the United States. Infrastructure, roads, bridges, hospitals, things like that. Police force, fire, firemen, firewomen. I'm not sure, fire heroes, I don't know, because there's damn good men firemen and there's damn good women firemen. So same thing with police. I am obviously I'm a god of the law, so I support our police force 100%, even though even myself, right in the flesh, have found myself on the wrong side of the law. Even in those circumstances, I've never disrespected them, and even though I was myself disrespected greatly. But I even showed grace to people that handled me wrongly, mainly because I, was in the wrong. So therefore, I do not get to choose how soft one was with me when I was in the wrong, if that makes sense, because it makes sense to me. What else? So there's a lot of different things that we can do, and Publix already does this, so I just want to again shout out to Publix. I mean, what a model store is and looks like. Publix emulates that in so many ways. The service is genuinely friendly, very helpful. The stores are immaculate, at least the ones I've been to. There's inventory, and I even like this about Publix. If there's something that they don't carry, and you're a frequent shopper, like I live, within a mile of my Publix, so I go there frequently. Even riding the bike, it gives me the exercise on a, nice day. But they'll order it and they'll keep it in stock for you, so I think that's cool. And then same thing with Aldi. Point is, Publix already gives food away to homeless. I love the work they're doing, and I literally just thought of the name. Gosh, I can't think of the name for some reason. It literally was on the tip of my tongue. But Metropolitan Ministries does amazing work. And that's another thing. Imagine when truth, because it's not a if, it's going to have to be when. That's a fact. It would be almost like talking about aging something out and aging it in. Imagine cell phones, right? Before they were smart, they were flip, which I prefer a flip phone. So this is a weird parable for even me to be telling. But people would say like, oh, well, you know, flip phones are on the out and the touch phone's on the in, right? Or the home phone was in and then it got replaced by cell phones. Well, the world being a shithead and a liar and a fake and a fraud is over. And the dawn of the day that I, as Elohim, as Yahweh Elohim, I do reign on my throne, and I am on earth, and I am cleaning it up as we speak, one way or the other, through people, places, and things, and in a direct way. You know, I am in my community, and I am not as active as I would like to be. But to be frank, it's for the betterment of my community, because my community thinks that they're somehow still doing me a service by being crackhead Christians screaming Jesus at me, and if I go somewhere they're like picket signs. Like, you guys, you're barbarians. You're barbarians that are confident in a lie, and you want everyone else to believe it to make you feel better. Shut up, sit down, and go get a Bible and figure it out. Like, really. So, got the car line, the homeless initiative, the housing initiative. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is I think that the whole Medicaid, Medicare system is mainly flawed, because we're not able to actually get a true cost of what things are, because of, I mean, surgeons don't need to make $5,000 an hour just because they can, don't mean you should, right? It's not a problem. Americans, you guys have this the worst. If you can do something, if you can physically do it, you feel like you should. Take a word from me, Elohim. It is wise to measure out those things in which you need appropriately. All right? You don't need to... We don't need to stress systems that are not meant to be stressed. We do not need to profit on things that are not meant to be profited on. Medicines should not be profitable. Therefore, we would not have so many of them that, you know, take this medicine and then you can sell this medicine because it fixes the symptoms of that medicine, and then you buy this other medicine that helps with the side effects of that medicine. Like, you guys don't understand the insanity you're in. Eat better, you'll have less diseases. Like, simple as that. And as Elohim on earth, you know, it ain't like I'm not a pixie, but I'm not obese either. You know, I feel I'm pretty well proportioned, and I had a time in my life where I was really down in the dumps, and I was hit by a truck. Talk about life and death. I mean, hell, I've already resurrected on this planet on accident because I got hit by a truck, and not just a truck, but the trailer too. Anyway, and I was pretty much immobilized for 9 months. I couldn't get out of bed. And I mean, the pictures, I'll have to show pictures, I guess, one day. I look pretty pathetic. I look like the classic, like, totally wrapped up thing. I forgot where I was going, so I really forgot what the heck I was talking about. Oh, the fat thing, yeah. So I'm saying, you know, after that, I you know, was in bed, and all I could do was really eat. So I ended up gaining like 240 pounds. I was pretty chunky. And I'm 5'8". So, well, 5'7", 5'8". I guess it depends. I don't know. I think my license says 5'8", but I think the doctor's is like 5'7". And really, I would be considered tall like 4,000 years ago, believe it or not. Unless you were a giant. But, I mean, point is. So yeah, eat better, live better. You know, it is possible to lose weight. I had to do it. The trick is, you know, put down the junk food and pick up some better food. You know, and obviously laying in bed for 9 months, you can't really exercise, because I like getting out and doing stuff. Like, I like getting out in the yard and working. I like riding my bike. Like, I try to stay pretty physical. But anyway, it's, yeah, we're about an hour and 15 in, so we'll go ahead and cap it there. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so it is It is one of the kids' birthdays, so I'll be preoccupied doing that stuff tomorrow, but I'm sure I'll have time for a video. So I hope everybody has a truthful, righteous, productive day, and we'll see you tomorrow.